Student-Athlete Advisory Committee leaders from several CAC schools traveled to San Antonio, Texas in mid-January for the 2016 NCAA Convention. CAC SAC student-athletes took part in a variety of activities, including a Division III SAC Special Olympics event, national SAC and CAC meetings, workshops, the Division III Issues Forum, social events, and more.
I think it's a really eye-opening experience knowing now how my rules are made as a player and how they come to make these big decisions that impact all the D3 athletes.
I never knew that student athlete as such, that our voice really mattered that much, and that as a whole we have a lot to say. And what really surprised me is the fact that the big top official people were actually listening to what we were saying.
I think mostly learning just like the background of athletics and how all the people at our schools like really help us play the sports that we love. I think the biggest thing, not just learning, but just realizing is that D3 is so based on like you playing the sport that you love and then having the academic experience too.
I learned a ton about the fundamentals that go behind the scene, how much effort is really put into each game, each practice, making sure the student athletes have the best experience they can.
How much planning goes into where championships held or what the schedule for something is, and I just didn't realize how much thought process went into like such little details like that. I thought it was very interesting.
I thought it was really cool that we got to sit in on sessions that went over things that go on in the conference level and the national level. Like, you don't really get to see that as a student athlete. You just are on the field all the time, so it's cool to see what goes on behind the scenes.
I love sitting on the conference meetings just because I get to hear more of what each institution does as far as, what they're doing for D3 week or anything like that, any events going on and stuff like that, which is really awesome. And it's good to, you have such a national perspective when you're at convention that when you get in your conference room, it's like, okay, this is what's affecting us directly.
Going through, you see how much detail is put into these things, and I think as a student athlete, sometimes you just assume that that's the way it's always been and that it's kind of, stagnant and stays the same, but there's been a lot of changes, additions, removals of things, and I think seeing the process of how things are either added or, dropped from agendas or dropped ideas that people don't like. And,
just talking at the Issues Forum has been my favorite thing the past 2 years. It really, we go around in a round table and all the compliance and administrators, they chirp it and they make awesome points, and I'm learning from that. But then, I get to speak up at it, and it's like, you see their eyes open and they're like, I never even thought of that, that's awesome. So that's something that I've really loved taking away from convention the past 2 years, is just being able to have my voice heard and my opinion heard.
I think the number one highlight overall was definitely the Special Olympics event on Wednesday afternoon. It was really cool because they talked about inclusion and how we were playing with the Special Olympic athletes, and it was the best part of their day. They were so excited to play with us, and it was just a lot of positivity and high fives and great jobs, and they got to experience, football with us as their teammates instead of us coaching them, and I think it was really special to them for them to have that experience with us.
It was super cool. I thought it was like something a lot of people should take back to their campuses. The Special Olympic athletes loved it. They were so enthusiastic about everything, and it was just fun to work with them.
I feel like they enjoyed it a lot more because it was set up more as like you were equal as opposed to you being like the coach and them the player, and I think they really enjoyed it a lot more because they got to bond with you. You could run up to them and be like, hey, great play, like good pass, like stuff like that, and I think they really enjoyed it.
It's such a learning experience too, because you're helping out with these kids, like helping them play sports, which we're also used to, and they love it so much. So I think just being together with them and like having their personalities shine was really fun.
This event is amazing, and that's something I plan on bringing back to my side. Just like we need to do something like that because we need to spread the word out more about the Special Olympics.
That was actually my favorite part of the trip. I am 100% certain that I'm going to bring it to my school. I know that it will be a great opportunity for us to get involved with. They didn't even want us to leave. By far the best experience of the whole week. I was so happy to be a part of that.
Well, just with the CAC members, I made like best friends when I was here, and you don't expect that because I was rooming with someone who plays lacrosse against me, and we were watching videos of like us playing each other. We're like, oh, like there's me and you, and it's funny because now we're all so close, and you would expect that rival teams would kind of not get along so well, but they're all so nice, and kind of learning what they do at their school and how our schools differ, it just shows how different like everyone is.
So we got to do a lot of things together, and it was really cool outside of the actual convention legislation to talk to them about what they like and dislike about their campuses, what they are doing to change it better with CAC and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun to get the insight from that could help my institution.
It's funny that some of these people are my biggest competitors or my biggest rivals, and we all came together and had a great time. Anyone that ran into us would never have known that we met each other 3 days ago because we got really close.
It was such a cool experience. Like I had no idea like what to expect when I was going into it. I had talked to the person who I was rooming with, and she plays my sport, so it was really cool to hear about her experiences through her school and just how everyone does everything differently, and it was really cool to get to know them on a personal level because normally we don't get to do that, and we all got along so well.
We got to bond together even though we're all rivals, and I think it's, Salisbury or, Marymount, those type of things when you think about your rivals in the conference and big games, that when you sit down and you get to travel with people and experience a conference with them and learn about each other as their experiences as student athletes, that we're all very similar, we're going through the same things, and it's cool to find people at different schools maybe experiencing the same things or experiencing things that I don't get to experience at UMW.
Go around, just meet people, and don't be afraid if you meet someone who looks like official, he has a badge on, he's looking amazing, you're like, well, just go and shake your hand and talk to them, and you'll be surprised of the reaction you'll get back. That was the biggest thing I got, is every time I walked, I saw the director of this, the president of that, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to go talk to them, and then I just said, hi, my name is Patrick Rasul from Frostburg State University, and it was like, wow, really, how's your program there, how's that? So to me, it's, you get to learn so much more. So
I would tell them to have an open mind going into it. Definitely try to get to know the people that you're going with, because that made the experience a whole lot easier and just very cool from that perspective. And I would tell them to attend as many of the meetings as they could that interested them.
Definitely do it, go, it's awesome. It's very eye-opening, so go in with an open mind and understanding that you're going to be a little bit overwhelmed. It is an overwhelming experience, and yeah, you're in the real world in business meetings and looking at how the national or NCAA changes rules and that type of thing, and watching the protocol. And I think pay attention and see, does that affect you, does that not affect you, does it affect your friends at home, and apply it to your life and really understand that these people, their job every day is to make your experience the best thing possible for your 4 years playing your collegiate sport.
To not be afraid to talk to people, because everyone's so friendly, they're all in the same boat where they don't know many people, and to ask questions.
Absorb everything. You have an opportunity to go somewhere free of cost. That was just fantastic. If you take notes and absorb, we don't realize how much behind the scenes stuff goes on that none of us know about. And we have the opportunity to absorb all this information now, but we want to be able to bring it back to our SACs at our school because they don't know this information. So take tons of notes so that you can inform everyone that doesn't know what's going on, just like we didn't know prior to this.
Just be outgoing. Like everybody's, coming into this big convention, and there's thousands and thousands of people. Like anytime someone asks me, "Oh, what was convention?" There's so many people on every level of administration to student athlete to president to everything. So you're going to meet a wide range of people, and they're here for you as a student athlete. So you're the highlight of the whole convention, really. So it's nice to go in there with an open mind. Don't be afraid to speak up. Is definitely the number one point. Don't be afraid to speak up what's happening at your institution, your conference, whether it's the legislation that they're giving you to speak on, or if there's something new that you think is interesting for the topic. Don't be afraid to really voice that, because they value it so much.